Time to hit some FT breaking news. We learned that MLB officially will implement a challenge system for balls and strikes in the 2026 season. The league's competition committee voted, and it is happening. Robot umpiring begins. Not with every pitch. Teams receive 2 challenges to dispute calls by the home plate umpire. 2 per team. That puts a little heat on the lineup, AJ. So what do you think? Is 2 the right number? We knew this was going to happen, so let's go over the details.
We knew this was going to happen. This is like the biggest non-surprise of all time. What do I think will happen? I think it'll make umpires lock in for 9 innings. If there's still challenges on the board, I think sometimes when you get late into games and the games get out of hand, sometimes umpires open up the strike zone a little bit, try to get games moving. That'll be taken away. And I also think it's going to be fascinating to see who's allowed to challenge and who's not. Most teams that I've talked to about it say they don't want pitchers challenging. It's mostly catchers and hitters. But do you have your 9-hole hitter challenging when it could cost Aaron Judge or Juan Soto a pitch later in the game? I don't know. It's going to be fascinating to see. But, it's here. It's not going anywhere, and we knew it was coming, so welcome.
Coming from the 9-hole hitter, you better be right. It better be an egregious mistake. And not like that 50-50. The reason it's a 52%, I think, was the challenges is because they're 50-50 pitches. Very few umpires are missing regularly pitches that are this far off or this far on. It's the borderline pitches, and so it's a 50-50 pitch. I think it's great because it eliminates those massively huge mistakes. Last night, Roberto Ortiz was calling pitches that were letter high, and the strike zone is below that. I think it's going to be interesting to see how it goes, but something AJ brought up was the length of game. Umpires start to kind of stretch it a little bit. Okay, I get it. We got to move. We got to keep the game moving a little bit. It's an 8-run game. Is it going to lengthen those games? Are we going to have more offense because the ball's now on the plate? We'll see.
I think that they should call it the Angel Hernandez ABS challenge system. It's probably going to have a sponsor or something to it, but I'll always remember Angel calling out Wyatt Langford on 3 pitches in another planet, and that's not going to happen anymore. You challenge that. But for me, AJ, when you have just 2 challenges, it does put heat on you early on in the game. You better be right. And you mentioned the Stars. Let's flip it. What if you are Juan Soto and you take a lot of really close pitches and you're up for your second AB, middle of the game, and you say, challenge, you're wrong because it was a borderline pitch and you were off. And then later in the game, you don't have that to use. Do you think that there will be some pissed off teammates? And I'm just using Soto as an example, but this could happen with anyone in the league, right? If there was a challenge blown earlier on in a game where a player felt like it was definitely his side and it wasn't, and then they're out of challenges at a time when they really need one.
Yeah, that's why the strategy of this whole thing is going to be fascinating. I mean, that's the whole thing of this is who's going to challenge when and who's going to be really good at it and who isn't. And we'll see after a few months who should be, and coaches and managers will make adjustments, and then they'll go from there. But, yeah, that's the whole thing is the strategy of who and when gets challenged. Because if you miss, you can screw your teammates.
And we know that front offices love to make everything into an advanced stat and a number and a probability. So, Kratz, do you think there will actually be a strategy implemented by teams? Like, will a front office sit down with a coaching staff, then coaching staff sit down with players and say, hey, this is how it's going to work on our team. These are the scenarios where you have to look out. Of course, again, like you mentioned, there might be one where it's so obvious the entire world except for the person behind home plate knows it. But in many other cases, I think players are going to be looking to leadership for when they are comfortable to make the challenge.
I mean, players should have the confidence that they know the strike zone. Catchers, hitters, pitchers, they just need to stay out of this. 100% pitchers stay out of it. But they have to have that confidence. But you gain that confidence because the front office is like, go for it. I'm guaranteeing you, just from talking to the people with the Rays, they're saying, hey, you know what? Let's test the limits on this. Let's see, let's learn it. Let's try to see what we can do early in the season, spring training, all that stuff with this, because they're not afraid of making mistakes. If your front office and your coaching staff comes to the players and goes, hey, everybody but Aaron Judge and Ben Rice, who, Cody Bellinger, the 3, 4, 5 guys in our lineup. Don't challenge. Don't challenge anything. Then you're going to be like up there like, well, I think it's a ball, but I don't want to get in trouble. So it's really it's like anything. Players, as confident as you can be, you're still looking to your coaches in your front office like, oh, you're pissed at me because I challenged that? Well, I thought it was a ball, so that's why I challenged it.
Jeff Passan just tweeted some big miss from last night. And he's right, and there's people in the chat talking about it too. The Padres-Brewers game had plenty of pretty obvious misses. And Passan said there are typically around 1,000 missed calls a week, saying that the challenge system is going to get plenty of use. We are going to have games where there's like 12, 14 challenges because the umpire keeps missing and the teams are on the money, right? It's not going to happen all the time. We're also going to have games where maybe only 5 or 6 challenges get used because teams blow them early and they're wrong. But there's going to be some games, AJ, where a bad umpire gets exposed, and that's actually going to go viral. People are going to be like, look, they're using 12 challenges from one team.
Yeah, but nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change, so I don't know why it's a big deal. Yeah, it'll affect the game, but it might slow it down a little bit. But it's like the umpires – it's not like the top 5 rated umpires get to go to the World Series every year. That's the way it was supposed to be, but it hasn't happened. So I don't know what it's going to change other than maybe the length of the game and the challenges. But everyone already knows who the good umpires and the bad umpires are, so I don't think it's – and what's the margin of error? What's the margin of error from the strike zone? If it's this far out and the umpire calls it a ball and we challenge it, right? Or they said at one point it was a half an inch or something. So what's the – because even the things in tennis that they use aren't 100% accurate. So how do we know this little thing they're doing is accurate? I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
Kratz, let's talk about Omaha Steaks, and it's not just steaks. It's chicken wings. It's smash burgers. Big deli-style franks. There are a number of categories that you can hit all in one place. They've been doing it for a long time. They're the best in the biz. And if you got a good filet, life's good, man.
But you got to finish every meal with some delectable desserts, too. They have those, too, to go along with these delicious steaks.
Apple caramel tarts on the list, among many other menu items to check out. Be the hero that orders Omaha Steaks and is the most popular person in your household. So get fired up for fall grilling with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Red Hot Sale event. And for an extra $35 off, $35 off on top of that, use promo code FOUL at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code FOUL at checkout. See site for details. There are some questions in the chat, so I'll address a couple of them right now. One is shading MLB for trying to trim down game time and then saying this is going to extend it. I'm going to go hard against that comment. They have done a really nice job trimming down game time with the pitch clock. That's dead time. That's pitchers taking an hour between pitches. We had plenty of offenders like that back in the day, and you'd have certain batters taking a ton of time in between pitches. To me, this is different. And also from what I've seen, unless it's going to be something different, we're talking like 5-ish seconds to get the response. So I don't think you're going to add that much time. Kratz, if you get a challenge, and it has to be instant. This is not replay where you look at the manager, they have like 15 seconds, they got to come up with it. This is instant. And if it's not instant and from the player himself, nothing to do with the coaches, then we move on. So let's say there are 10 challenges in a game. And let's just say it takes 10 seconds total for the player to signal it and then the call going to the computer. That's 100 seconds. That's not even 2 minutes. So if you think this is contradictory to what MLB is trying to do, you're damn wrong. It's going to be entertaining for fans. That's a 2 minutes I'll sign up for.
Go to a AAA game. There's a week left. There's half a week left. Go to a AAA game and watch it. I went to an Iron Pigs game about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and there was 3 challenges. Umpire was right on one. The players were right on the other 2. And there was also 2 where the hitter took strike 3, took 1 step, looked in the dugout, and the umpire, and then he turned around and was like, no, I want to challenge. And the umpire was like, no. Like, it looked like he was saying, you looked into the dugout and they gave you. So it's like umpire's discretion. you took too long because it was kind of quick, but it wasn't as quick as the other ones. Or if someone else gave you the oh, go ahead, challenge it. It was low, or it was, obviously in and out. You can't see from the dugout, but so I saw it where they don't always get it if it's not in on time.
Thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's got to be quick. It's got to be quick. That's it. It's got to be quick. It's supposed to be quick on the TV and on the scoreboard. I don't know if it's going to affect. It's not going to make the games that much longer. It's just going to make people pay attention more. Like I said, I've talked to umpires about this, and they just say, "Hey, it's going to make us lock in for 9 innings." And if, God forbid, a guy gets a couple wrong early, they're going to might get in their head and make it a little bit strange. But this is baseball in 2026. This is what we're throwing out there, and I hope it's for the positive. I think it will be.
My question is, and obviously this is rules stuff, and we'll have it ironed out, but you have it instantly. On the bench, you can have it instantly. TrackMan has it. That's how they're getting it. They have the Hawkeye system. All that stuff is instant. If you're the catcher, can you have something where, bang, you look at it, and you're looking over with your hand up? Can they have a green light from the dugout where it's telling you, where the system that you have in your dugout can tell you if it was a ball or strike? I'm thinking that's probably against the rules, but is that allowed? Or are they going to get in trouble for doing that?
Wait, say that again. I was fighting with people online.
If the pitch comes in and you're like, it's that 50-50 ball, it's close, the catcher basically turns and he has his hand up. He's turning to his dugout to give the challenge. And if it's a green light in the dugout, yes, go for it. Because they have the pitch instantly. They have the pitch instantly on their own system in the dugout. I think that's
no, they don't.
The rules.
No, they don't.
No, how do they have the pitch right away?
That's why the Astros got in trouble. They banned it. You don't get it for a while. They don't have it.
I'm not talking about on the camera. I'm talking about in your own TrackMan system. It populates. If you're watching it on the iPad, I get it. The iPads now don't have that. Is that using too much technology?
No, you don't have that right now.
They don't have that.
They can't do that right now. They're not going to add that.
The teams have it, just not in the dugout. Could you have a system where would that break the rules?
Yes.
Yeah, they don't have that though.
Yeah. They're not doing that.
They're not going to be allowed to have that.
Also, if you even see a catcher go like that, this is where the umpire's job is going to expand. If you're an ump, AJ, and you see a catcher catch a ball and get a little pissed and go like this, you're going to be like, nope, can't challenge it. You looked over to your dugout, right? I think that's part of it. Yeah. You have to be the one to make the call. The coaches are not involved with this.
They don't have TrackMan in their dugout. They can't have they don't have instantaneous information. That was the whole Astros, Red Sox, iPhone, iWatch, bang the trash can, all that stuff. That was what they eliminated.
Good question by one of our director, Jeremy, behind the scenes said, can the dugout whistle or do something?
Yeah, but how do they know for sure?
They don't. You're right. I mean, what's the vantage point in the dugout?
But if they want to be wrong, then everyone blames that whoever whistled.
Don't you think the catcher has a better vantage point than anyone in the dugout anyway?
Always.
You would think.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this is going to be fascinating.
Catcher and the hitter have the best vantage points.
I think it's going to be fascinating.